Welcome or welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion. Today I'm doing my top 5 most played heroes. Now this is not a list of most powerful heroes or anything like that. I just really enjoy these 5 heroes and find myself playing them over and over again. And in this video I'll tell you why. Let's start at number 5, and my number 5 most played hero is Spider-Woman. I love playing Spider-Woman because she was kind of the first one that let you mess around with deck building a little bit. When you're building a deck for Spider-Woman, you can use 2 different aspects. Actually, you must choose different aspects in equal number of cards. So it is a lot of fun to mix and match different aspects. You know, most of the time I play her in leadership and justice, but there are other things you can do, right? I keep wanting to do a justice and protection because that is green and yellow, and I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I haven't built that deck yet, but I will. It is just a lot of fun to build a deck for someone when you can choose combos in different aspects. One of the things I like about her, and something I always forget about, some of her cards are both Spider-Woman cards and aspect cards. So Venom Blast, Pheromones, Containment Immunity, and Inconspicuous. I forget that these are Spider-Woman cards sometimes. I was building a deck the other day and Inconspicuous showed up on the list on Marvel CDB. And I thought, holy cow, why have I not been playing this card? Of course, the reason is I can only use this in Spider-Woman. That's the reason I haven't been playing this card. I'm also going to say that among the heroes I'm going to talk about today, they all kind of have one thing in common. Well, they actually have 2 things in common. One of them is very obvious. The other is that the way you, or the order in which you play cards and use abilities really matters, I think, in all 5 of the heroes I'm going to talk about today. And that is one of the most fun things I have in this game. Not just playing a card, attacking the villain, move to the next phase. It's really thinking about a turn and getting the most you can out of a turn just because of the way a certain hero works. Of course, in Spider-Woman, you get +1 to all of your stats, and for each aspect card you play, or each different type of aspect card you play. So it is a lot of fun to try to get this up. I have gotten this up to 5 before, but it is a lot of fun. One other thing I want to say about her, she's got 3 readies right in her deck. Ready her, give her Ariel. I haven't built anything around Ariel because I need this event to do that, but it is an option. I think it would be fun. So that's number 5. I do love Spider-Woman because she's a lot of fun. Number 2 is the second hero. Well, yes, it would have been the second hero that messes with deck building, and that is Gamora. When you're playing Gamora, you can include up to 6 attack and or thwart events from aspects other than your chosen aspect. So you could play all 4 aspects in Gamora if you want to. I normally end up picking 3 and 3, so you know, my main aspect and then 3 attack, 3 thwart. But you can, you know, mix that up even more. You're getting a total of 6 attack or thwart cards from other aspects. So you can mix and match and get all kinds of different aspects, except maybe leadership, just because I don't think there are any attack or thwart in leadership. I'm probably wrong. But I do like Gamora for that. Gamora's favorite card for me is Cross Counter. It's 1 cost event. It's an attack, a defense, and a thwart event. and you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, deal 1 damage to an enemy, remove 1 from a threat, or 1 threat from a scheme. And of course, that's actually a little bit better than that, because when you play an attack event, you remove a threat. When you play a thwart event, you deal a damage. So you can play that event when you're about to take damage and prevent 3 of the damage, deal 1 to an enemy, maybe knock off a tough status, deal 1 to another enemy, remove 1 threat from a scheme, remove 1 threat from a scheme. So that is a very powerful card. That's total cost of 2, whatever you spend on this plus the card to prevent 3 damage, deal 2 damage, and remove 2 threat. Very, very good card. I really do love this set. And set the pace, thwart, remove 1 for 0. Not great, but you're also dealing a damage, right? When we get to decisive blow, deal 4 damage, 7 instead if you have played a thwart event this turn. So you set the pace, and then you hit for 7. I love stringing that together. She also has a card I really like that just happens to have some of the worst art in the entire game. And that's this right here. It's a support conditioning room. Exhaust it, return the bottommost attack or thwart event from your discard pile to your hand. Heal a damage from Gamora. Most of the time I actually forget about this healing, but what I really like to do in Alter Ego is play an event, or spend an event to play this, and then pull an event back. You might not get the one you wanted because it's the bottommost, but on your mulligan or your first turn, it's definitely going to be there at the bottom. So I really like Conditioning Room 2. It just has some really bad art. Last card I want to talk about is Keen Instincts. I love these 1-cost upgrades that are resource generators. Exhaust it, generate a wild for an attack or thwart event. You know, some of those attack or thwart events require you to use a specific resource. This will do that for you. I really like Keen Instincts, and she does have 2 of those. So yeah, another one where the order in which you do your attacks, you play your events, can have a significant impact on the game. Like if I have a minion with tough, I will try to play a thwart event so that I can ping that tough off rather than wasting a good attack just to knock off that that tough. So it is a lot of fun. Gamora is my number 4. Coming in at number 3, another hero, I'm going to say this for all of them, who really has some sequencing that is fun, is Storm. Storm has her weather, clear skies, hurricane, thunderstorm, and blizzard. And the order in which you trigger these and some of the benefits you have for triggering that special vary, but can really change how you would play your deck. So she gets 1 swap per turn with her, or per round, with her hero ability. Then she also has 3 copies of Weather Goddess. Swap your weather with a different, and then resolve the special. So, you know, if you swap to Clear Skies, you're going to replace this with a new card draw. Something I like to do, it really depends on who you're playing, of course, but if I'm playing someone who has stunned or confused me, I will swap to Clear Skies. I gain Stalwart, so that tough status comes off, or that stun or confuse comes off, and I get to draw a card. And then if I've got a swap, a Weather Goddess, I can use that to come back to Thunderstorm or Hurricane, whichever one I want to use. So she is a lot of fun to play, and again, just taking advantage of timing and what order you do things in. Lightning Bolt is a fantastic card. 3, deal 8, deal 2 more. That is the special on Thunderstorm. So that's a 3 for 10 if you have Thunderstorm. But if you don't have Thunderstorm, it's still 3 for 8, which is fantastic. Another one I really like is Blast of Wind. Deal 3 to the villain and each minion. Resolve the special on your weather. So whatever weather you have, this one is going to trigger that. So I really do love that. And all of these are superpowers as well. So your Deft Focus, I'm really surprised they didn't reprint Deft Focus in any of the X-Men. This one in particular, all of her events are superpowers. And let's see, item. Yeah, some of them are not, but I really love Storm. She's fun against Ultron. I don't play Ultron a whole lot, but when I do, I either play Black Panther or Storm, just because one of these, which one is it? Hurricane, gives you Retaliate, and when you switch to it and get to trigger its special, you remove 2 threat from a scheme. So that's basically 2 free threat removal and some free damage because you get Retaliate. I don't get her to the table much anymore, but when she first came out, I played her and played her and played her. I mean, I probably played her 50 times in the first week I had her, trying her against different villains. Super, super fun. That is my number 3. So if you haven't noticed what that other thing is, I said there were 2 things in common about all my heroes. Maybe you have discovered the second thing by now, but if not, maybe this will help you. My number 2 is X-23. X-23 is an absolute powerhouse. Anytime she takes damage, once per phase, she gets to ready. That is huge, and if that wasn't huge enough, her signature ally, Honey Badger, when she takes damage, you get to ready. So much fun building combos into an X-23 deck. She has some fantastic cards. Regenerative Longevity is healing for both you and Honey Badger. Keep Honey Badger alive. The Adamantium Lacing, +2 hit points, and you get Piercing on basic attacks. And honestly, I always forget about this Retaliate 1. I'm always thinking about the Piercing and +2 hit points, but I forget about Retaliate. And then Pain Tolerance. After you play an X-23 card, heal a damage. That is fantastic. Just to help keep her alive a little bit longer. But yeah, I've played X-23 in every aspect, and she is so much fun. So easy to get her up to an attack of 5. So her attack is 1. What I'll do is thwart or attack for 1, thwart for 2, or attack for 1, trigger her claws, exhaust it, take 2 damage, which readies you, get +2 attacks. So now you're up to 3. And then you can play a Claw Mastery to get up to 5. Attack for 5. Attack with Honey Badger, who readies you unless she takes her last damage. Attack for 5 again. X-23 is just a ton of fun. This one maybe has a little less of the sequencing that I like so much, but there is still a little bit of sequencing. Attack with X-23, and then you can put a puncture wound on. And now we've got all these cards that have come out with Iceman that lets you do something to enemies with an upgrade attached to them. I haven't built any of those decks yet, but I am looking forward to that. X-23, my number 2, and I'm surprised that it's only number 2 and not number 1, because my number 1 on this list actually has not been out very long. Number 1 is Magik. There's something about Magik. She definitely cares about the sequence you do things in, and I absolutely love how everything in her deck kind of works together. So when you change to hero form, choose a spell in your discard pile, put it on top of your deck. This opens up different ways to mulligan. Do I go ahead and mulligan this spell because I want to play it, Or do I mulligan this spell because I want it to be on the top of my deck so that when I spend resources to play Exorcism, I also get the Confuse, or Soul Strike so that I also get the stun. That is so much fun. The ability to set up the top of your deck in Magic is just a blast. You actually have a lot of tools. Limbo is one of those tools. Swap a card. Scrying, look at the top three, draw one, discard one, put one back on top. Setting up the top of your deck. Sometimes you're doing that because you want to play that card for one less. Sometimes you're doing it because you want a specific resource on top. Stepping Disc is probably my favorite card in Magic. Ready Your Hero, I always love a ready. Ready Your Hero, choose a Magic card in your discard pile, not named Stepping Disc, put it on top of your deck. Number one, that is fantastic. You get the ready and something else. And what I generally like to put on top really depends on timing. If I'm getting ready to go into the villain phase, I want an energy resource on top so that I can play Magic Barrier. Because Magic Barrier now not only prevents 3, it also deals 3 damage. If I want to stun the villain, I want a physical resource on top so that when I Soul Strike, I deal 4 and stun the villain. My favorite card to put on top, though, number 1, to keep replaying this card. Number 2, because it has a wild icon, is Colossus. I like to get Colossus into play, use him up as quickly as possible, get him in the discard pile, so that when I get a Stepping Disc, I can put him back on the top of the top of my deck. Like I said, it has the wild icon, so that's going to let all of your kickers kick. But then I'm going to get to play Colossus for only 2. Get him into play with a tough. So good. So much fun. Now, I said X23. I am surprised that she isn't my number 1. With Magic, I've played Magic through... Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Mutant Genesis, Expert Next Evolution, Age of Apocalypse. I've gone back and played her through Mad Titan Shadow, through Rise of Red Skull, and then a whole bunch of games, just testing games, learning how to play her. I have a Juggernaut video on here where I play my quote-unquote Gandalf the Grey deck. I played that matchup 10 or 15 times before I recorded it. That was how I learned, really, I think, how to play Magic. I played the Precon when it first came out, but I really had that idea for Gandalf the Grey, and I played it a lot of times. Magic, my most played hero, and it may not be, some of these others may be my most played. I know I've played Gamora a lot. Gamora is my most played Guardian for sure. And I'm pretty sure at this point, even if she's not my number 1 all time, Magic is my number 1 played mutant. So that's number 1, Magic. Mystic X-Men. She is an absolute ton of fun. Gets you really thinking about your turn, how you sequence your plays, and I just love Magic. I'm going to keep playing her as much as I can. So those are my top 5. I have played these heroes the most. They're the ones I go back to again and again just to try something different with them. Especially Gamora and Spider-Woman, because you can play around with the aspects. Every time a new pack comes out, I'm looking at the attack and thwart cards to see how would this play in Nebula. Do I want these, not in Nebula, in Gamora. Do I want these in Gamora? And I'm always looking at the aspect cards to see, is this a card I want to see in Spider-Woman? So deck building is a lot of fun with those, and Magic right now is just so much fun. So much fun, in fact, that I haven't even played Bishop yet. I still haven't played Bishop because I've been messing around with Magic. So those are my top 5 heroes, my top 5 most played heroes. Let me know in the comments which are your top 5 or just your top 1. What is the hero that you come back to again and again and just keep playing them? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.